advanced treatment. So unit number 4, which covers the advanced treatment of the wastewater. So in advanced treatment, there are few important methods which is mentioned in the syllabus. As per the syllabus, we have the UF, that is ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, reverse osmosis, wet air oxidation, ozonization, packed ion exchange, membrane bioreactor, etc. So all these are the important methods which are used for the in the tertiary part for the treatment of the wastewater, or sometimes it is called as the tertiary treatment of the wastewater. So advanced treatment means the advanced techniques are used in this treatment. So after the biological treatment, the third part is the last part of this treatment is the advanced treatment, or tertiary part of the treatment is the last part of this wastewater treatment. And afterwards we will see the green technology, bioremediation of the sludge, and the composting, landfilling, thickening, and alkaline stabilization. Okay, so one by one we will see in detail. So the first is the wastewater treatment by using the advanced method. So important thing is the membrane process. So as we know, the most of the water is purified or treated in the preliminary, primary, then after the biological treatment, that is secondary treatment, and now the last part is the screening of the treatment, or the treatment process method is the tertiary treatment. In this tertiary treatment, advanced technique, that is the membrane process. And membrane, in the membrane process, as we know, the membranes are nothing but the polymer based, the membranes or polymer based material used for the purification or the removal of the solid materials or the color materials from the wastewater. This membrane is a selective barrier that permits the separation of certain species in the fluid. So as I told that this membrane is mostly used for to separate the barriers which are very harmful to the users, so that can be removed from the wastewater. So membrane acting as a barrier from the barrier which can remove the unwanted things or toxic things, or the harmful things from the wastewater. And it is a combination of sieving and diffusing the mechanism. So it has a combination of the sieving, means it can working as a mesh, and it diffuses the unwanted things to the membranes. So membranes can be separate particles and molecules, and over a wide particle size range and molecular weights also. So this is the membrane process. So if you see the in this diagram, membrane process or membrane separation, this is what a semi-permeable membrane, or we can say the this membrane. What exactly in this diagram showing? So this is the feeder or feed, and this is the permeate, means treated water is in this section, in this part, and untreated part is in this part. So solute particles, and this is the solvent particles. So solute particles are not directly passes through this particular membrane in the solvent section. So solvent is nothing but the water, and in this water these are the solute particles which are harms to the user, so that can be filtered in this membrane method, or in this membrane. So membrane acting as a baffle, membrane acting as I told in the last slide, that is acting as a barrier, and through this barrier it separates from the water, separates from the water. This is the simple diagram of the membrane separation, and it has four common and important types of the membrane, that is reverse osmosis, a very well known and common method, then nanofiltration, ultrafiltration, and microfiltration. These are the four important the processes or types of the membranes. So if you see, and this is very important diagram as per the types of the membrane concern. So this is what the macromolecule, or this is actually the microfiltration, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, and reverse osmosis. So this is the first one. Then second one means this is large, small, small to small, small to again small, means this, if you see the suspended solids, you can separate in the microfiltration. If you see the macromolecules, so you can, macromolecules, they only the pass into this ultrafiltration. Then multivalent ions will pass to the up to the nanofiltration. Then monovalent ions, so monovalent ions, it will pass to the macro to ultra, ultra to nano. Also reverse osmosis, but reverse osmosis will not pass all other things, means suspended solids will control, multivalent ions will control, macromolecules will control, monovalent ions also will control. Only RO will pass these water molecules. See, this is very important. This water molecule is only pass through this RO. So this is RO is a very advanced and useful method. Nowadays it is useful for all the types of the industrial effluent treatments, and it is very costly and very advanced method used in the industrial wastewater treatment methods. Understood? This is microfiltration, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, and RO, that is reverse osmosis. So with this diagram, I think you understood about how it is differentiated, and which particles will pass through the membranes, different types of the membranes. Okay, so this is the chart which is mentioned in the sizes also. So which type of this particles pass through this membranes, so that size of microns, then relative size of various materials in water, and separation process. So reverse osmosis, as I said, point not 1, so it can be covered under this. Then nano, then ultrafiltration, microfiltration, and this is what conventional filtration process, that is sand filtration likewise. Okay, so these are the methods, and the separation of separation separation and sizes of the particles from various filters, through various filters. So RO membrane is a semi-permeable with a thin layer of annealed material supported on a more porous substructure. This the thin skin is about 0.25 micron thick. If you see the size of the membrane is 0.25 micron thick and has pore size in 5 to 10 angstrom range, and this porous substructure is primarily to support the thin skin, and the pore size of the skin limits transport to the certain size of molecules. Most of the dissolved solids such as the sodium, calcium are about the same size as the water molecules, so they can be separated through this particular membrane. However, the charged ion seems to be repelled by the active portion of the membrane, and water it attracted to it. So absorbed water will be block and passages and exclude ions. Under pressure, attached water will be transferred through the pores. Nanofiltration is complementary process to reverse osmosis. So before the reverse osmosis, the very important is the nanofiltration. So nanofiltration is a complementary process to reverse osmosis, where the divalent cations and the anions are preferentially rejected over the monovalent cations. In microfiltration and ultrafiltration, both are essentially membrane processes, and that really on the pure staining through the porosity in the membranes. So they require the pressure as lower than RO. If you see the RO requires the more pressure as compared to the UAF, then nano, even though microfiltration, because the size of the pores is very fine as compared to the other. So that's why they require that RO require the maximum pressure. So dead end membrane filtration, this is the diagram of the dead end flow, feed flow, and their dead end membrane filtration. Cross flow and filtration, this is again a filtration. Cross flow, vertical flow, these are the design and types of the filtrations. This is the fiber of the membrane fiber. This is open zone, this is actually same structure like qualifying zone. Fluid flow likewise, this is hollow fiber. There are two types of the membranes are mostly used in the industries, plate type and the pipe type. In pipe type means you have to use in the pipe, and in the pipe there are plenty of membrane pipes are used in the pipes, and in plate there is a plenty of membrane sheet is used in the this plate type of the membranes. This is, as I said, this is plate type. Spiral wounding is takes place in the or developed in the this pipe type membrane. This is the spiral wound membrane. This is the, as I said, the pipe type, and in this pipe type it is wounded, the spiral wound membrane element. So plenty of membranes are used in the these pipes. Feeder spacer membrane, permeate spacer membrane, and feed spacer is used in this particular spiral wound. This is the structure of, this is the incoming water. Water is incoming, it is entered through this membrane to, this is permeate, you will get the permeate which removes the unwanted things. So concentrate and permeate, and concentrate means the discharge where the most of the ions are present and they can remove from the concentrate. These are the models of the pipe type membranes. This is mostly based on the ceramic material or the polymer based materials. Okay, this is what the diagrams of the membranes. This is spiral ultrafiltration system. Pressure is required are based on the osmotic pressure for reverse osmosis. As we know, the reverse osmosis means it is opposite to the osmosis process. Osmotic pressure is applied reversibly. That's why the unwanted things are removed in inverse direction, invertly. The osmotic pressure and the fluid mechanical frictional headless for non-filtration, and purely fluid mechanical frictional headless for ultra and microfiltration. If clean water and water with some concentration of solids are separated by semi-permeable membrane, water will be transported across the membrane until increases hydrostatic pressure on the solute side and will be force the process to stop. Okay, this is actually the picture of the reverse osmosis and reverse osmosis. This is the actual osmosis, and as we know, the osmotic pressure head. So here is the piston, and if you apply this force on this piston, so the low to high direction the solute will pass, but in this osmosis process, high to low direction it passes. Okay, so this is the difference of the reverse osmosis. So this is the osmotic pressure calculation formula. The chemical potential by using the Gibbs free energy per mole of the solvent and solute in phase can be described by using this formula. These are not important to